Hey, so if you're new to Excel and you'd like to start entering data into a spreadsheet but you don't know how, well, that's what we can cover today with you step by step, very slowly. So we'll look at the basics, but we'll also look at a couple of really cool techniques to get you up and running really quickly. So if you're ready, I am. Let's jump in, shall we? So today we're looking at quick tips for entering data faster in Excel. So what efficient data entry also gives us and why this matters is that it saves time, reduces errors, and it works especially well when you're looking at entering large lists of data. Now, first off, we're just going to enter some text and numbers. Then we'll look at a thing called autofill, which will save you some time, and some quick copy paste techniques. And then we'll have a look at possibly a thing called flash fill. All right, so let's kick off with entering some text and numbers really quickly. And I just want to show you, first off, some techniques that are super core, super basic. So if we enter in anything, text or numbers, such as the number 12, and hit enter, what happens by default? It gets entered into the cell that we were in, and then it moves us down one. So if we're entering data down a column, that's ideal. So there was 12, enter, 45, enter, and so on. So we could continue on as much as we need to. But if we were wanting to enter data across our spreadsheet, how do we do that? Well, it's the use of the tab key in this instance. So I'm just entering in some months of the year. So instead of hitting enter, if we hit tab again, so I'll stop at 4 months there. You get the picture. So even just hitting the tab key and then the left arrow key moves you backwards and forwards. Of course, the right arrow key will do the same, and the up and down arrow keys. So they're the navigation keys that you need to have close at hand. Now, when we're filling in a small table such as this, we could just continue on with some numbers if we need to enter them. If we don't have them sort of in a digital format, and I'm just hitting enter as we go. And I might speed this up. Bang, and we're done. Now, let's look at a couple of things we can make this table a bit more presentable. So let's say enter a total column, and we'll add up the data that we've got. Now, a nice little efficient way to do that is firstly to be familiar with auto sum, but let's see what auto sum is actually doing before we use it. It is sum totaling the data that we're going to now point to. So if I enter the start of the formula equals sum, hit the tab key to enter in, highlight which cells I wish to sum and display them in the cell that I started in. There we have it. The total of cells D3 through G3, hard to say that total there is those 4 cells displayed in H3. Now, if I double click to edit that cell, you'll see that it highlights them like so. Now, you can continue on creating that sum formula, that's fine, But let's look at another way we can do that. So let's just hit delete to start again. And auto sum, it's actually one of the things I should really have up here on the quick access toolbar, but nonetheless, clicking auto sum once, you'll see what it does. Now it's proposing to add the cells which contain numbers to the to the left of where I started that formula. Now let's look if we were down here and we did the same thing. It looks upwards. So left and upwards. It will look to find some numbers, and when it does, it highlights them and completes the formula waiting for you to hit enter. So let's try that over here. Auto sum and enter. Boom. Must be an easier way, don't you think? Instead of what I could do from here on in. So I could use this fill handle here and drag that down, and that will copy all those sum formulas down that column for me. That's one way to do things. Or let's delete and start again. So if I highlight them all, and if we hover over auto sum, I'll also get you to note the shortcut on the keyboard for that is Alt equals. Okay, so we don't even need the mouse. And if we hit auto sum, it automatically fills them in. That's great. Let's undo that. Let's take it one step further. Notice what I've filled out here is the data plus extra cells to put some sum totals in. I can click auto sum, but once again, its shortcut is Alt and equals. Voila, there we have it. Our sum totals for each of those columns and the rows have now been entered for us with a quick selection and a shortcut on the keyboard. Super, super efficient. Now, we could fill out what are these rows representing. So we've got weeks here. So let's call it week 1. And I could carry on week 1, week 2. But let's drag that down and watch what happens. A bit of magic. We get the week 1 adding 1 week at a time by dragging that fill handle. Let's do that again. I'll just hit Control Z to undo that. Control Z. Dragging that fill handle. Notice the mouse pointer shape. It's not the white cross there. It's that filled little black cross. And if we drag down, there we have it. Weeks 1, 2, 3, 4. This kind of stuff works for lots of things. So if it was quarters that we were dealing with, QTR 1, quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, wham. And days of the week. Instead of months across here, let's say that was, I'll just type in that abbreviation this time. Mon, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can see it with that little tooltip there saying what's going to end with. There we have it, days of the week. And I didn't need to type these in either. I could have simply typed in Jan or January would have worked. I'll go Jan. Drag that across. There we have it. So based upon what you type, upper or lower case, it's going to replicate that across when you drag it with the fill handle. MON in caps, capitals. Dragged across becomes all capitals. So very neat indeed. So days of the week, months of the year, week numbers, quarter numbers, all of those things can be dragged down using the fill handle. If you make a little error too, the fill handle, if you drag it inwards, deletes stuff. How cool is that? So just a quick refresh. Days of the week, months of the year, week numbers and quarter numbers, drag with the fill handle. Even formulas, drag with the fill handle, or copying anything for that matter. So if I select and drag inwards, that was the bonus tip. It's a deletion. Do it over here, deletion, and there's our table all looking pretty smart with our headings and our data and formulas. So filling and things like that were made very easy with either mouse techniques or with some keyboard shortcuts or toolbar techniques. Let's take it a step further and look at a thing called flash fill. Now, flash fill is just like this fill handle. It's going to fill a series of things. So, series of days and weeks and whatever is fine with the fill handle. But flash fill will take an example that we type in and fill based upon that. So here's the task at hand. I want to create email addresses for these new staff members. A bit complex-ish, but here's a few assumptions. Firstly, we create our addresses with all lowercase, full stop between, and the domain at will be the company name that they're a part of. So in this case, we've got Candle and Paratip are our two domains, and .com to finish it off. Now, let's give us a bit of room here, dragging that column width a bit wider. So let's start off with our first example. Peter dot Maurice at candle.com. Okay, enter that. Now, if we hit Control E, that's the magic of flash fill. It has taken that first example, Peter Maurice at candle.com, and let's check it out. Bill Patel at paratip.com, Anders.Olesen at candle.com, and Julie.Peters at paratip.com. Now that's only 4. Imagine if that was 500. And working out what to type in and how to create it, that can save you a stack load of time. Okay, so there's a few ways you can fill in some spreadsheet data super quick. Now, with that flash fill, do a little experiment, look it up, Google it, what have you, check out what it can do. It is a real winner for you. So we looked at how to fill data across, auto sum and copying that and making that happen real quick as well by that selection. And we had a quick look at flash fill. So I hope you enjoyed all that, and I hope you can make real use of that, and we'll see you in the next one.